live.
Let's all together on them. Inch your map.
Come.
Come. Slow on. Slow on.
Let's see.
Or make you guys too. Either the mic or the speaker.
Test.
One second. You put this on. Start.
Person is going to lead you into the ways of destruction, right? Because when we read Romans 6:23, we find out that the wages of sin is death. A wage is something that you get paid. When you go to work, you have a job? No? Yeah, all right. When your parents go to work, they get wages for their time. When they leave out of the house in the morning and go to work for 8-9 hours, right? Their paycheck is their wages. When you go out in this world and you want to sin half of your life, death
Oh,
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak.
Wasalak now.
Kabawak now.
Kabawak now.
Wasalak now.
Kasalak now.
Kabawak now.
Kabawak now.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Kabayak now.
Kabayak now.
Banasayawan.
Banasayawan.
Abod.
Abod.
Pawashai now.
Pawashai now.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Waha'ala.
Wala'ala.
Wahatapa'ara.
Watai Korah.
Ta'awalanim.
Ayalam. Bahashim.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach. Yahushua. The water.
Aman.
Aman. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Bahashim Hamashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman.
Amen. Shall be seated. Shabbat Shalom Yasharala.
Shabbat Shalom.
Kan. Our praise the Most High by Shamash Gawashai. That the Most High once again for giving us another Shabbat day. When Israel can come together in holy convocation as per the covenant that he made with our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are the land of Zion, located down in West Broad, Fort Lauderdale, West Broad Boulevard, 2937 West Broad Boulevard. I am Elder Bishop Lapalal, and to my left,
Captain Aliyah, Shalom Yasharala.
Kan. We are the land of Zion, and tonight's topic is gonna be about the Chronicles. Chronicles are like documentation, historical documentation of Israel. Okay, we're gonna start the first book of Chronicles, chapter 1. But before we do that, let's go to Colossians 3, verse 17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Yeah, it should be.
And whatsoever ye do, in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right, whatever you do in word or deed, make sure that they're in accordance with the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and the teaching of the Mashiach Yahushai. I believe there's an outlet of you somewhere. Is there a space for this? Is there one on that? Trying to give a fan instead of waiting there. Is that good? Put this up here. Aquapium is June. It's summer. Summer in Florida. So you know where that goes. You know what I'm saying? Summer in Florida, so you know where that goes. Gotta make sure that the temperature is correct. And like I said earlier, in the book of Chronicles, the first book of Chronicles, which is a documentation of historical events and chronologies. The word chronology implies, like the records, historical records of Israel. Okay. First Chronicles chapter 1. Go on.
This is the book of First Chronicles chapter 1. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
You know those names. What are those names? That tell you where Israel came from. With Adam, Sheth, Enoch, Henan, Mahalalel, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech. That's a lineage. That's a lineage from which Israel came. Then it went to Noah. We know what happened now. Everyone before Noah got destroyed. Anybody who was alive during the time of Noah, except for him and his 3 sons and their wives, those 8 people, got killed. So the earth was repopulated by Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Read verse 4 again.
Verse 4. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Verse 5. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madiah, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Java, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dudanim.
Right. So, notice it tells the sons. It doesn't say the daughters. Understand? It's very important for you to understand, because your nationality is reckoned according to what? Paternally. By your father. Understand?
1 verse 18.
Huh?
Number 1 and 18.
Number 1 and 18? Go ahead there. Understand? Your nationalities are reckoned by what? Paternally, by your fathers. Understand? So that's how you know who your nationality is today. What nation was your father from? Read that, number 1 and 18.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month. And they declared their pedigrees.
What's pedigree? Your lineage, bloodline, family tree, so to speak. Ancestry. Read on.
And they declared their pedigrees after their families.
After their families, read on.
By the house of their fathers.
By the house of their fathers, not their mothers. Understand? So you understand. So if someone tells you, they're from this nation, you ask them who's your father from? And that's how you know you are somebody's nationality. Then by who are the ancestry of their father paternally. Go back to Chronicles.
Verse 8. The sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, Put and Canaan.
What is that?
Mizraim. Put and Canaan. Verse 9. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havaliah, and Sabta, and Ra'amah, and Sabteka. And the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba, and Dedan.
Right. So now now they're giving this the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, Canaan, and Cush, and so on. Okay. I read on.
Verse 10. And Cush begat Nimrod.
So one of the sons of Ham was Cush, and Cush begot Nimrod, a very famous person in history. Because being famous doesn't mean that you're always righteous. The sin was it went down to what? Infamy. Your fame was not a righteous context. I read that, and Cush begot Nimrod, and we all know most of just about all the false doctrines going around right now. All the paganism going around right now. All this modern day paganism and false doctrines going around right now in today's time came from this guy here, Nimrod, from Cush. And unfortunately, Cush is someone who a lot of people identify with. Why? Because they were so misguided into thinking that, hey, that's a lineage that they're from. When we teach them time and time again that they're from the lineage of Shem, but for some reason they try to identify with Cush. Understand when they see the word Ethiopia in the Bible, it's really talking about Cush. And a lot of people identify with Ethiopia, which is really Cush, not knowing that they are really identifying with who? Nimrod, the father of many false doctrines, paganisms, and wickedness. Read on.
Verse 10. And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be mighty upon the earth. And Mizraim begat Lud.
Cush begat Nimrod and began to be mighty upon the earth. Meaning what? Very influential, very dominant. Powerful.
And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamin, and Lahabim, and Naphtuhim, and Pathrushim, and Kaslushim, of whom came the Philistines, and Caphtorathim.
See that? And of whom came the Philistines. So, Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamim, Lehabim, and Naphtuhim. Those are those words. Remember, the Philistines were famous for producing giants. Pathrushim and Kasluhim. That's a lineage from which the Philistines came. Which you know that Israel had many bitter wars with the Philistines. Many wars with the Philistines. So you see, and this is level for Israel. After the Philistines came, that's the lineage of the Philistines. I read on.
Verse 13. And Canaan begat Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth.
So when you read about Tyre and Sidon, you know that historically they were Hamites. Where did they come from? From Canaan. Read on.
Verse 14. The Jebusite also, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite.
Right. So these are all from the lineage of Canaan. Read on, verse 17.
The sons of Shem.
So previously read about the sons of Japheth and of Ham. So now we're going into the sons of Shem. Read on.
Verse 17. The sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, Arphaxad, and Lud and Aram, and Uz and Hol, and Gether and Meshech, and Arphaxad begat Shelah, and Shelah begat Eber, and unto Eber were born 2 sons.
So, remember, give me Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. So we can see the earth was repopulated by who? By Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So you know they all spoke the same language. Understand? They all spoke the same language that Shem spoke, that Noah spoke. Shem, Ham, and Japheth all spoke the same language that Noah spoke. And all their sons spoke the same language. So all the people descended from them spoke the same language. Understand? And we just read about we didn't go into Shem yet. We just saw the Shem. We just mentioned some of the sons of Shem. I read now Genesis 11, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 11 and verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language.
The whole earth was of one language. The whole earth was of one language because all the inhabitants of the earth descended from those 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Understand? Who all spoke the same language. Read on.
And of one speech.
And of one speech, and they were very much on one accord. They could easily communicate with each other without any difficulty. Read on.
And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Continue.
Right, so you see all those are like the components for which the construction infrastructure came from. It was like like brick and mortar and all that. The necessary components to construct buildings. Read on. So they said there's been a city right there. They found a location that they thought was suitable for the establishment of a city where they could all live as one. Read on.
Verse 4. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven.
Whose top and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. You may why would they want to build a tower whose top may reach unto heaven? Some people may say, hey, because they record or the earth was destroyed by a flood. So they thought if they build a tower whose top can reach into heaven, not necessarily literally to the heaven, but of a high stature, then they know the wickedness that's in your heart. They said if there's another flood, at least we can escape the flood by going to the penthouse, so to speak. Read on.
Lest we be scattered. No. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Most High came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Most High said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Right, so the Most High saw what they were up to, and the Most High didn't like what the intentions were. So the Most High, decided to say, you know what? I'm going to put an end to this. I'm going to destroy the city that you guys are trying to build. this will not come to fruition. Read on.
Go to, verse 7. Go to, let us go down there, confound their language, that they might not understand one another's speech. So the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the whole earth, and they left off to build the city.
So the Most High said, let us confound their language that they might understand each other. So what did the Most High do? The Most High had them speaking different languages. The Most High based on the ancestry and all that. The Most High had them speaking different languages. So they were not able to communicate with each other. So you know what? When you can't communicate with somebody, you're not going to be hanging around them too long. Because communication is very important. But I heard somebody who's saying, you know, it doesn't make sense me hanging around you.
You're right.
So that's exactly what happened. The Most High confounded the language. They didn't understand each other. So what? So they separated themselves and really created different places and set up different communities, different cities, and so on. Read on.
Verse 9. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Most High did there confound the language of all the earth.
Right. So the Most High confounded the language of all the earth. That's what it's called Babel. The word Babel means what? Confusion. Now go back to Chronicles. Start from chapter 1, verse 18.
Verse 18. And Arphaxad begat Shelah, and Shelah begat Eber.
And Arphaxad begot Shelah, and Shelah begot Eber. Verse 19.
And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided.
Right, see that now? Now Eber, we read about the lineage of Shem. Understand? And Eber came from the lineage. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided. What's the word Peleg means what? Divided of the earth. And because in his days the earth was divided, so Peleg, Eber's son, was born when the Mosai decided to confound the inhabitants of the earth during numerous time, so they wouldn't understand each other. Because in his days the earth was divided. And read on. 19.
Verse 19. Unto Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided. And his brother's name was Joktan.
And Peleg's brother's name was Joktan. Read on.
And Joktan begat Elomah.
That's what the word Peleg means what? Division.
Mm-hmm.
Now Eber, what does the word Eber mean? Hebrew. That's where the word Hebrew came from. Because when the Mosai confounded all those nations, he had them all speaking different languages. But guess what? That language that they were all speaking at the same time was retained by who? It was retained by Heber. The language from the past. That's what the word Hebrew means, from the past. Understand? So the language, the original language that all people were speaking was only retained by Heber. Understand? All the other nations were speaking a different language that the Mosai instilled in them at that time. During the time of Peleg's birth. But only Heber. So right now we're reading about the progenitor. I guess one of the progenitors of the Hebrews. Understand? So we're going into our lineage, the lineage, the ancestry of the Hebrew nation. And all people who came from Heber, they were Hebrews. But not all Hebrews are Israelites, obviously, because Israel wasn't even born yet. It's a long before Israel was born, before Jacob was born. This was even before Abraham was born. And we all know that Abraham was a Hebrew, right? Give me that. Give me Genesis 40, verse 13.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 14 and verse 13. And there came one that had escaped.
There came one that had escaped. We talked about at the time of Lot and Abraham when there was some wars going on between in Sodom and Gomorrah, different nations fighting against each other. Read on.
And there came one that had escaped and told Abram, the Hebrew.
I told Abraham who?
The Hebrew.
The Hebrew. So that's how we know Abraham is a Hebrew. But right, I read it. I'll go back to Chronicles.
Verse 20. And Joktan begat Almodad, and Shelah, and Hazar Maveth, and Jerah. Verse 21. And Hadoram also, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Abal, and Abimel, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, Abram.
See, that's a lineage coming right in. Because we all know that Terah is Abraham's father, right? In verse 26. See the lineage? Eber, right? Verse 25, Eber, who had Peleg. Peleg had Rehu. Rehu had Serug. This is all on the father's side, paternally, by the father's house. Then Serug got Nehar, right? Nehar got Terah, and Terah had Abraham. That's a lineage right there, and paternally on the father's side. The same as Abraham. Verse 27.
Verse 27.
Because we all know that Abraham's name was changed to Abraham when the Most High blessed him and made a covenant with him. Read on.
Verse 27. Abram. The same is Abraham.
God.
The sons of Abraham.
See, right now in Chronicles, we're reading the documentation. That's what Chronicles is what? Documentation. Say, historical, documentation about what took place. Read on.
The sons of Abraham, Isaac and Ishmael.
Right. So now, Isaac and Ishmael, those were the two first sons of Abraham. And we all know Isaac was what they mentioned. They mentioned Isaac and Ishmael. They mentioned Isaac first, right? We all know that Ishmael was the firstborn, though, who we had with Hagar. But why did they mention Isaac first? Because Isaac was the chosen. Understand? You can read about that in Genesis 16:19. The Most High, Abraham had two sons at a time, but the covenant that the Most High made with Abraham was renewed with Isaac, not Ishmael. Right? Read on verse 29.
Verse 29. These are the generations of the firstborn of Ishmael.
Read it, King.
Okay.
You gotta pause it to write down the quotation. Read on.
Verse 29. These are their generations.
These are their generations.
The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, then Kedar, and Abdiel, and Mibshem. Verse 30. Misha and Duma and Massa, Hadad and Tema, Jetur and Naphish and Kedema. These are the sons of Ishmael.
Right. See, these are the sons of Ishmael. So we're going to the lineage right now. And lineage, like we said earlier, we keep reiterating, is reckoned according to the father's house. So those are the sons of Ishmael, Abraham's firstborn. Read on.
Verse 32.
So it didn't mention the sons of Isaac though. Only Ishmael. Read on.
Now the sons of Keturah, Abraham's concubine.
Right. When was Keturah? When did Abraham start dealing with Keturah? After Sarah's death. After Sarah's death. Because his two previous wives were Sarah and Hagar. We know the history with Hagar. Sarah and Hagar didn't get along, and Sarah was Hagar was magnifying herself against Sarah, and Sarah didn't like it. So Sarah got permission from Abraham to put Hagar out. So Abraham put Hagar out, and Then later on Sarah died, and Abraham hooked up with Keturah. And so Abraham had more children. Abraham had more children than just Isaac and Ishmael. You read right here that he had children with Keturah, his other wife, after Sarah. Read verse 32 again.
Verse 32. Now the sons of Keturah, Abraham's concubine, she bare Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian.
And Midian. Remember this word Midian. Understand? If you recall, when Moses ran away from Egypt because they killed an Egyptian, and the Pharaoh was looking to kill him, which people did Moses hook up with? The Midianites. Understand? The Midianites. So the Midianites were Hebrews, understand, and descendants of Abraham by his wife Keturah. Understand? So that's who Abraham had hooked up with. So let's not get this confused also, because remember in Numbers 10, get Numbers 10 when Aaron and Miriam was arguing was confronting Moses that he murdered an Ethiopian woman. No, the Ethiopian woman that Moses they accused Moses of marrying. It was not was a Midianite, because the Midianites, as we're reading right here, understand, is a different lineage from the Ethiopians. The Midianites were from Shem, right? Reading right here, Midian. This is Midian, Abraham's son, that he had with Keturah. The wife that Abraham got from the Midianite, from Jethro, the Ethiopian woman that accused Moses of marrying was someone totally different from the wife that Moses married from Jethro. Okay, that woman was from I'll go into that another time, but I'd have somebody else. Read on.
Want to go on Numbers?
Number 10, yeah.
10 and 12?
No, verse 12. Numbers 12. Numbers chapter 12. Chapter 12.
Oh, chapter 12.
God.
I thought I seen it in 10 as well. 12 and what? 1?
Yes, stop at 1.
Okay. Numbers chapter 12 and verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against
Moses and Aaron. It's Aaron.
Spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married.
Right. This Ethiopian woman that Moses had married is not this woman from Midian. That was somebody else that Moses had married previously while he was living in Egypt. Understand? It's a woman. Moses was a prominent person in Pharaoh's army, and there were many wars going on between between Egypt and Cush. And in warfare, lineages, alliances were made through marriages. Alliances were made through marriages. Many nations go to war over women, and many wars got started over women. Alliances were made over women.
Figure that.
Understand? So this woman that Moses was hooked up with was from Cush, from Cush, in order to bring some kind of tranquility or to start a warfare between Egypt and Cush, because there were any wars going on between Cush. Remember that. That's why That's why the Egyptians didn't trust Israel to begin with. What did they say? Just in case there was a war going on, then Israel would do what? Would link up with the enemy and overthrow them. Let's see if we can get an Exodus 1. Oh, we're gonna go back to Numbers, and of course we're gonna go back to Chronicles. But let's get Exodus 1. To give an idea of what was going on, as to why,
1 and 1.
Verse 8. I'll go straight away because we haven't got much time.
Okay. Exodus chapter 1 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Right. So this king, of course, the king knew. And he didn't know Joseph because personally, but he knew of Joseph. Understand? But of course, he didn't have a history with Joseph, so he didn't have no reason to give the respect to Joseph's people. That's what I mean. Are we on?
Verse 9. And he said unto his people,
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
See, that's what it said. The people of Israel are more than mightier than we. That's why right now in America, the people of Israel, even though we don't all know that we're Israelites, different tribes of Israel are more mighty than the so-called white men of the Edomites and the other nations. But we don't even know. Read on.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them,
That's why
lest
they
multiply.
Let us deal with them wisely, lest they multiply. That's what they're doing in America right now. They're dealing with us wisely. How do they do it? Police brutality, murder, racism, incarceration, castration, abortion. All those are elements of how they deal with us wisely to diminish our population or to remove us from a prominence. So they can maintain the supremacy over us, or the dominance over us. Read on. Read on.
And it come to pass, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
See that? So that's what they're concerned about. If there's a war going on between Egypt and another nation, because we were of a different ethnic group, they were concerned that we might want to side with the other nation against Egypt. Understand? And then get out of the land or get power, because they were fine. They're fine with us being there as long as we contributing to their nation. Just like in America and everywhere we are, they're fine with us being here as long as we're contributing to the economy for their benefit. But if you were to side with anybody else, that's why when anybody else come over here, they're another ethnic group or race or whatever, they make sure that they poison their mentality against Judah. Against the so-called Negroes in America. All right, go back to Numbers. Go back to Numbers, and then go back to Chronicles.
Verse 2. Numbers chapter 12 and verse 2. And they said, hath the Most High indeed spoken only by Moses? Have he not spoken also by us? And
We read verse 1 again.
Verse 1?
Yeah.
Come.
That was the main point. Yeah.
Numbers chapter 12 and verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married.
Right. So that's really what I was bringing. Yeah. So this Ethiopian woman that he had married was not Keturah's was a Midianite. She was a Cushite. Mm-hmm. Cushite that Egypt was warring against, and Moses married her because what? As part of an alliance, you know what I mean? As an alliance to stop the war between Egypt and Cush. But there were many wars going on. Just like this when in Exodus, there were other wars going on. So that's why the Egyptians were so concerned about us, trying to form an alliance with other nations to fight against Egypt. We'll go back to Chronicles.
Verse 32. Now the sons of Keturah, Abraham's concubine, she bare Zimran and Jokshan and Medan and Midian and Ishbak and Shua, and the sons of Jokshan, Sheba and Dedan.
See, and Sheba and Dedan, see? Read on.
And the sons of Midian, Ephah and Epher and Enoch and Abidah and Eldaah. All these are the sons of Keturah. And Abraham begat Isaac.
So all those are the sons of Abraham. So Abraham, so that right now in the Middle East, a lot of Hebrews in the Middle East. Understand? There were a lot of Hebrews in the Middle East besides Ishmael. Understand? So there's a lot of so-called Arabs who are not a lot of Ishmaelites, rather. There's a lot of Hebrews in the Middle East who are they're not Ishmaelites. And they're not Arabs. You know what I mean? They all descendants of Abraham. All descendants of Abraham. Kuwait, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iraq, all those places. Understand? All those are territories that Hebrews occupy. Understand? There are a lot of Hebrews, but only one Israelite nation. Read on.
Verse 34. And Abraham begat Isaac, and the sons of Isaac, Esau and Israel. And the sons of Esau, Eliphaz, Reuel, and Jeush, and Gaalam, and Korah. The sons of Eliphaz, Teman and Omar, Zephi and Gatam, Kenaz and Timnah, and Amalek. The sons of Reuel, Naath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. The sons of Seir, Lotan and Shobal and Zidion and Anah.
So Abraham got two.
Anah.
So Abraham, the focus is on Isaac's two sons. Abraham got Isaac, and going to Isaac's lineage. Isaac begot Esau and Israel. So the focus is on the Esau and his descendants. I read on.
And Dishon, and Ezar, and Dishan. And the sons of Lotan, Hori, and Homam, and Timnah was Lotan's sister. The sons of Shobal, Elan, and Manahath, and Ebal, Shiphi, and Onam. And the sons of Zidion, Ai, and Anah. The sons of Anah, Dishon, and the sons of Dishon, Amram, and Eshban, and Ithran, and Shiran. The sons of Ezer, Bilhah, and Zavan, and Jachan. The sons of Dishan, Uz, and Aram.
Right, so these are the sons that came out of Esau. Read on.
Verse 43. Now these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel.
See that? So this king. So Edom was already established. Edom was already established before Israel was even a nation. If you recall, remember when Jacob had gone to serve Laban for 14 years to get Leah and Rachel, and he was concerned that Esau was from the slave, and Esau, all Abraham had, all Jacob had was his two wives and their concubines and servants, few servants, but Esau had a multitude of men with him. He had an army with him. It was well established. You know what I'm saying? So it was already a powerful man, well established man. So Esau was well on his way to becoming a powerful nation, long before Israel, because at the time it was Jacob, on the children that he had on his way. Read on.
Verse 43. Now these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel. Bela, the son of Eor, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And when Bela was dead, Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozrah, reigned in his stead. And when Jobab was dead, Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his stead. And when Husham was dead, Hadad, the son of Bedad, which smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Avith. And when Hadad was dead, Shamla of Masrekah reigned in his stead. And when Shamla was dead, Shaul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. And when Shaul was dead,
Go to verse 51.
Verse 51. Hadad died also, and the dukes of Edom were Duke Timnah, Duke Eliah, Duke Jetheth, Duke Aholabah, Duke Elah, Duke Pinon, Duke Kenaz, Duke Tema, Duke Mibzar, Duke Magadel, Duke Aram. These are the dukes of Edom.
So Edom was a well-established nation because we were in Egypt. We were in Egypt for 430 years, and during that time, Esau, Edom was a well-established nation, having kings and dukes and all that reigning as part of their political infrastructure while we were slaves in Egypt. That's the end of chapter 1. Now go to verse chapter 2. Let's see if we can finish up chapter 2 and consider next week. It's a long chapter, but go on.
2 Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 1. These are the sons of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar and Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, and Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The sons of Judah: and Onan, and Shelah, which 3 were born unto him of the daughter of Shua the Canaanites. And the firstborn of Judah, was evil in the sight of the Most High, and he slew him. And Tamar his daughter-in-law bare him Pharez and Zerah. All the sons of
we all
Judah
know
were 5.
the history of this, right? The firstborn of Judah, and what's we know that the story from I think Genesis chapter 24 of Onan. You can read it another time.
Is that 37?
Huh?
Where it says the of Judah was wicked and he was slew.
Right.
Yeah, that's 38.
38.
And 7, I believe. Genesis 30 and 7.
Oh, okay. All right. Stay right there now. That's another. Read on.
Verse 4. And Tamar his daughter-in-law bare him Pharez and Zerah. All the sons of Judah were 5.
So that's so we understand that his daughter-in-law. That's not his daughter-in-law, because the story was that his son has died because he didn't want to raise up a son to his brother, so the Most High killed him, and his daughter-in-law Tamar disguised herself as a harlot. Disguised herself as a harlot that caused Judah to sleep with her, and got her impregnated. So that's how he impregnated his daughter-in-law, because she played the role of a harlot, because Judah didn't want to give her his son to marry her, because his previous sons were dying because of the wickedness. I'm not one to bring rid of son to the brother. Read on.
Verse 5. The sons of Pharez, Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Zerah, Zemari, and Ethan, and Heman, and Calpol, and Dara, 5 of them all. 5 of them in all. The sons of Carmi, Akar, the troubler of Israel, who transgressed in the things accused. And the sons of Ethan, Azariah, were born unto him. Jeramel, and Ram, and Shalubai, and Ram begat Aminadab, and Aminadab begat Nashon, prince of the children of Judah. And Nashon begat Shalma, and Shalma begat Boaz, And Boaz begat Obed, and Obed begat Jesse.
No. This is going into the lineage of David, the ancestry, like the immediate ancestry of David. We all know that we all came from his ancestry started much earlier, but it's going into like the grandfather, great grandfather, grandfather, father, and all that. It says and Nahshon begot Salma, and Salma begot Boaz. Read on verse 12.
Verse 12. And Boaz begat Obed, and Obed begat Jesse. And Jesse begat his firstborn, Eliab, and Abinadab, the water. The second, and Shema the third. Nathaniel the fourth. Radadai the fifth. Ozim the sixth. David the seventh.
See that? So David was the seventh son. Yeah, so David had 6 older brothers. So that's why when they were looking for a king. They were looking for a king. David's father said, no, I got some bigger sons. Well, that's that ain't the one that wanted. David was the one that wanted. We had a bigger son, and we all know that David. His bigger brothers was a part of the Israel army, and David would bring them lunch and all that, and it was like a nuisance to them, man. It was like a nuisance to them. Saying, okay, give me the lunch, now go back to the farm, return to the sheep. David is always paying attention to what's going on in the camp, and eventually, he decided to confront we go into the history of that another time. But I'm just reflecting right here that David was actually the 7th son. He had 6 older brothers, some of whom was in the military before David. Read on. David was like a little peep, so to speak. Read on.
Verse 16. Whose sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail, and the sons of Zeruiah, Abishai and Joab, and Asahel, 3. And Abigail bare Amasa, and the father of Amasa was Jether the Ishmaelite. And Caleb the son of Hezron begat children of Azubah his wife, and of Jerioth. Her sons are these, Jeshur and Shobab and Ardon. And when Zubah was dead, Caleb took unto him Ephrath, which bare him Hur. And Hur begat Uri, and Uri begat Bezalel. And afterward, Hezron went Hazaleel, the water. And afterward, Hezron went in to the daughter of Machir, the father of Gilead, whom he married when he was 80 years old, and she bare him Segub. And Segub begat Jair, whom he had 23 cities in the land of Gilead. And he took Geshur and Aram, with the towns of Jair. From them with Kenneth and the towns thereof, even 80 cities. All these belong to the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. And afterward, Hezron was dead, and Caleb Ephrath, then Abda, Hezron's wife, bare him Ashur, the father of Tekoa. And the sons of Jerahmeel, the firstborn of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, and Bunah, and Oren, and Ozem, and Ahijah. And Jerahmeel had also another wife, whose name was Atorah. She was the mother of Onam. And the sons of Ram, the firstborn of Jerahmeel, were Maaz, and Jamin, and Eker. And the sons of Onam were Shemaiah, and Jada. And the sons of Shemaiah, Nadab, and Abishur. And the son of the wife of Abishur was Abihail, and she bare him Ban and Molid. And the sons of Nadab, Shelet and Appiam. But Shelet died without children. And the sons of Appiam, Ishai, and the sons of Ishai, Shishan, and the children of Shishan, Aliah. And the sons of Jada, the brother of Shammai, Jethro and Jonathan. And Jethro died without children. And the sons of Jonathan, Peleth and Zaza. These were the sons of Jerahmeel. Now Shishan.
All right, so this is basically going into a different lineage of the sons and different prominent people, prominent men. Going into lineage of the sons of prominent men in Israel, and also some women. So that's going to lead up to the end of chapter 2. We're going to press for time. So the Most High willing, we continue in chapter 3, which is going to go to David. We're going to do more David and sons and servants lineage. Understand? And it's going to get a bit more interesting. So we went through two chapters. The first two chapters are a lot of listing of different names and ancestry and all that. But as we go on, it's going to go into more the exploits and the deeds of these prominent men. But we just came up a couple of weeks ago where they have the so-called Memorial Day, where all Easter was talking about the military men and all that. Which Memorial Day was actually started by Jake, by ex-slaves. They were the first ones to establish Memorial Day. I was planning to go to something like that, but I said, no, you know what? Let me go to the Chronicles. But Most High willing, next week we're going to lineage of David. It's going to be chapter 3. I'll go forward. Brothers, right now, brothers, can get ready to go to edify our people on the street. Don't forget, tomorrow, the Most High willing, we'll have a continuation with the Shabbat service with Chief Minister Shalimar. It's going to start at 12 Eastern. For those who can come physically, we have 2937 West Broad Boulevard, 2937 West Broad Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. Okay? Let's see. Amadim Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar.
Shayar.
Hama Aiwa.
Hama Aiwa.
Ladawan.
Ladawan.
Ma.
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 Tawab,
Tawab.
Wama,
Wama.
Naayam,
Naayam.
Shabat,
Shabbat.
Akyam,
Akyam.
Gam,
Gam.
Yakad,
Yakad.
Kashaman,
Kashaman.
Atawab,
Atawab. Ayel.
Araash,
Araash.
Yarad,
Yarad.
Ayel,
Ayel.
Azakwan,
Azakwan.
Zakwan,
Zakwan.
Haaran,
Aharon.
Shayarad,
Shaharad. Ayel.
Paya,
Paya.
Warawak,
Warawaktua.
Katal,
Katol.
Karamwan,
Karamwan.
Shayarad,
Shairad. Ayel.
Araria,
Araria.
Tazayawan,
Tazawan.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Sham,
Sham.
Kazawa,
Tazawa.
Yahweh,
Yahweh. Ah.
Abaraka,
Arakad.
Kayawam,
Kayawam. Ay.
Awalam,
Awalam.
Bahasham,
Bahasham.
Hamashiach,
Hamashiach.
Yahushai,
Yahushai.
the
The water.
Come on.
Aman. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there, by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, Yahweh commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. By Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the water Yad, man.
Gun. The water Yasharala, the water Yasharala for everyone for logging in. By so much, God will shine up again. The most I willing to